I'm Jane, and we are in Hamburg in an industrial loft called La Bodega. We are right now already in the living room area, which is an open floor plan concept, which means that the living room and the dining area aren't separated from each other. What really makes this design special is the fact that it's a very industrial, rustic design. And the designer who made this concept decided to put focus into this industriousness and the design in every single detail. So every single detail is exactly how it's supposed to be. For example, here, the table isn't just a regular table, but it has this big metal frame around it. The color palette is really calming and neutrals. You have a juxtaposition of, on the one hand, the deep indigo blue wall, which acts as a backsplash for the one side. The rest of the colors are not on the cooler side, but on the warmer side. So you have a lot of different shades of brown, such as the leather sofa. And I think this really ties up the design and adds more interest. What is really special about this loft is the fact that the owner made everything by himself. So everything you see here is completely custom and is 100% unique to this Airbnb in Hamburg. For example, this was actually done on the street. These like rust panels were just regular pieces of metal which were put out in the street, and I think that's really cool. My favorite thing about this design, and I think what makes it really stand out, are these really cool copper pipes that are installed in the ceiling. Instead of just one copper pipe being there and feeling kind of like an unlucky situation, the designers decided to spray them copper and turn them into like a unique aspect of this apartment. The copper pipes were repeated again in the dining room area and used to really frame this zone. When you have an open floor concept, it's important to still visually divide the zones from each other. The way that was achieved here is with these really cool copper pipes that go up to the ceiling. This is a good example where we can see that visual rhythm is something that really gives the design like a purpose and like a sense of that it's correct and that it's supposed to be here. Another personal favorite of mine, I know in this apartment there are a lot of favorites, is this really cool glass wall. It's actually an original. It used to be in a big fabric in Hamburg, and you can really see its history with every screw and every nudge. It also really visually connects, again, this room, the living room, with the master bedroom, and it lengthens the space and gives you even more of a spacious feeling. And another thing you realize as soon as you step into the apartment, and that it acts kind of like a small wow effect. These big radiation pipes have been covered only with glass that you can walk over. So you have another really cool connection to this apartment, to its history. A personal favorite and kind of a hidden piece or a hidden gem of this apartment is in the guest bathroom. See for yourself. And it seems like you feel like you're underground and diving somewhere. This is the master bedroom. It has a really dark atmosphere because all of the colors that are used are really toned down and dark. So you have a really neutral and calm atmosphere. And the real star of the show is the lighting system. Even though it's a bedroom, you still have the same color palette as in the living room. And you have the same repetitive elements that are used consistently, like the copper pipes or the rusty backsplash. And I really like it. The mixture of like a rusty coppery red and an indigo velvety blue is just really good. Let's go into the next room. This is the second bedroom, and it is quite similar to the first bedroom, other than it's a little bit smaller. The brick wall acts as a backsplash. An element that I really like in this room is the painting over here. Because actually, if you take a closer look, it seems like all of the different colors and the color palette of this whole apartment seems like it was actually pulled from this cool painting, because the color of the brick and also of the orange lamps was kind of pulled from the painting. And the darker, more violet colors are represented in the dark blue. And I think this is quite cool. And this is actually often a really cool trick if you don't know how to like find a cool color palette for something. You can just think of a painting you like or find a painting you really like and pull out the colors from this painting, and it will always look great. Throughout the whole apartment there are a lot of green plants which add some life and a sprinkle of green throughout the apartment. And I think it's quite cool. And with this lamp we can see a good example of what industrial design actually is. That often it's just an element like a lamp broken down to the most simple of its form. A light bulb already acts as a lamp. Like you don't need a lampshade, you don't need something holding up the lamp. A string and a light bulb is just enough. This bathroom is really minimalistic and clean and has a much wider and brighter atmosphere than the rest of the rooms, which I think is not bad because you want to feel like you're in a really clean space when you're in the bathroom. But at the same time, the industrial vibe of the rest of the apartment was still kept coherent What I really love, like I like everywhere else, are these copper pipes that are also used here. The purpose that they serve is to connect the mirror and the light with each other, to visually connect the different elements. All of the elements you see here are very straightforward. The designers decided to break up this straightness and like squareness of the place by placing round mirrors and a round lamp on top. And it really adds a new type of geometry. Here's a kitchen. It's unlike the rest of the apartment. It's quite minimal and functional, but it has everything you need and is very spacious. Everything is made from real material, and I really like it. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.